Hi guys, welcome to Venice, Rome. I've been here the past couple days. Before I get to what I've been doing, I'll try to catch you up on what I've been learning that I've forgotten to tell you up until now. What I was trying to tell you last video was the cannolis. Those are from Sicily, I found out. And I noticed tons of nuns while I was in Rome, and some priests too, but I've never seen so many in my life. So that was interesting seeing so many. Also tons of Vespas around in Rome and Florence. Not in Venice because you're not allowed to drive in the city. Once you take the bridge over to Venice, you can first of all only do that if you live in Venice, but you have to park around there. Otherwise, once you're in town, you have to walk around by foot. And although it might seem small, you could just walk around forever. Like, it's bigger than it seems, so it's kind of like walking through a maze because there's all these tiny streets and canals and bridges. So eventually, if you're not using a map, you just hit a dead end and kind of got to work your way out of it, find another bridge or way to go. Let's see what other things. Back to the driving stuff. People here drive insane. If you're driving in the car, it's better just not to look out the window because you'll probably be freaking out. But they pretty much drive like race car drivers, so super fast, like in and out of cars, tailgating, but everyone drives that way, so it's just the norm. And although there are accidents, I haven't seen any, and I think there's not as many as you would think, considering how they drive. And it's also really expensive to get a license, so I heard it's 400 something euro to take the driving test, and then you have to do classes, so in the end it's like 800, 1,000 euros, something crazy like that, and it's really hard. So found out about that as well. Some other things about Venice, besides that you can't drive here. Oh, I'm probably gonna forget this, so while I remember, I was shown the other day there was this area that used to be a brothel, now they're apartments, but there's this hole in the ceiling if you look up that goes like through the floor. And so back in the day when it was a brothel, if someone was knocking on the door, they could basically like peek down through this hole to see if it was cops or, just regular guys coming in for business. So that was like an interesting side note thing to see. You see these carnival masks here everywhere. And so they have a carnival here in February, but it kind of stems from a different story than, the one you see like Mardi Gras we have or in Brazil. So many years ago, there was a plague here that killed many, many, many people. And originally Venice was being governed by the church. So when all these people were dying, the Italian government decided to step in and help out. And so it wasn't until after that happened that it actually became a part of Italy. And so basically this celebration in February is celebrating that, like their freedom from the church and just becoming like part of Italy. And then other things from here I'm trying to think. Oh, something that I found out, which is interesting, is there's actually more tourists here than locals, which is pretty crazy. Just shows you how many tourists there are. And I think it's over 50%, but I don't know how much. So you run into them everywhere. However, at the same time, if you're just walking down these tiny little side streets, you could totally get lost and like not run into anyone. So that's pretty cool. If you stay out of the areas that are, like all the shopping and the main areas by the water, the boats and stuff like that. So, trying to see what other things, I'll see what else comes to mind, but the last 2 days for the most part I've just been kind of exploring, not as much going to like specific points, but hit up some of the main plazas. Like Santa Margherita is the main plaza for hanging out at night. People again just drinking, even though technically you're not supposed to, but everyone does and doesn't get in trouble for it. And then today I went to San Marco, I believe is the name, which is another like really, really big plaza with the church. And from there you can go to this main waterway that's huge. There's a cruise ship over there today. Also checked out a Bel Air gallery, which had some cool pop art, and this other structure garden, which was cool. Another thing that I learned, I was talking to my friend in Rome, and he was telling me as far as like how the language started, because the Romans took over so many places in Europe, yet everyone speaks different languages, but they all have that basic like Latin root stem. So that was because that's what they spoke back then, the Romans, Latin, and so over time that basically transitioned into different languages, but that's why it all stems from that, which I thought was interesting and cool. Let me show you guys the views, and if I come up with more stuff as usual, I'll let you know. So here's just a typical canal with boats and homes. A little bit quiet over here, and bridges. Some laundry back that way. And then I mentioned to you guys that they drink a lot of espresso here. So I had learned a little bit about some of the differences. Probably already forgetting, but yeah, I'm not gonna go there because I'll definitely get it wrong. But macchiato, cappuccino, basically depends like how much milk, what type of milk, if it's like froth milk or what. They drink a lot here anyways. And sometimes older people, I was told, around 10 or 11, will go in and get a one with like a shot of alcohol in it. And I forget what that's called, but they do it. I think I will end it there because it might take a while for other things to come to mind. Some other random things I've noticed, the sinks here, a lot of times they have like foot pedals to turn it on. So at first I was like, how do you turn these on? Because you know, we're used to automatic or like the hand. Anyways, there's foot pedals on the floor for those. And also another cool thing that I've noticed, specifically in Rome, but I guess they have them all over in the cities, they have like faucets and fountains all over that you can actually drink the water, which is pretty cool. So technically you don't have to buy water bottles, you could just fill yours up wherever you go. Okay, I think I'm going to end there for real. And I'm going tomorrow to Switzerland, so I will talk to you guys next time from there. Ciao.